What's going on, y'all? I know you saw all my posts, and I hope you have your wine and your friends because this is the after discussion for OWN Television's hit reality TV show, All the Single Ladies. And today we are talking about episode 5, Raised by Religion. Stay tuned. What up? Your host, Jamie Alexander here. Thank you for tuning in. This is the after discussion for All the Single Ladies, which is a show I absolutely love because the art, the women, the beauty, the stories, it's all just so relatable. So we're going to dive right into this, and I'm really excited because we have a couple ladies from the show on today. So this is going to be a good conversation. And of course, let's just start with, you guys know I gotta have my co-host. You know, I've been rocking with her for a while. You've seen her with Queen's Glean, and she is my girl, creator of Surrender Sessions, Kian. Hey, girl.
Okay, happy
There you
Monday.
Well, I love that. Hey,
Yes.
happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I'm
Your
so
hair
excited
looks
to be
amazing.
here.
Yes.
Thank you. Just feeling really good and free.
Yeah, yeah, that's about to be me in a minute. I can only do this for like 2 weeks at a time now, and I'm trying to like throw it out.
Yeah. Although I know I'm going to be over this in some time, but it's fine. Let me embrace it while I have it out. So,
Word. Trust me, I know that too.
yes.
Well, I'm excited because we have two ladies from the show on here and titled Raised by a Religion. I know this is something you and I have discussed many of times in the past because we go way back when it comes to this. So we're going to have a great conversation.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yeah, so first lady from the show I'm going to bring up is Poppin', okay? And that would be Queen Aisha. She had me cracking up.
What's going on, ladies? Happy Monday.
Happy
Monday.
What's going on, gorgeouses?
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
We had our own side little conversation. We were like, we loved Aisha's energy.
Thank you.
Yes. I'm so glad you were able to join us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
super excited.
Yes, me too. And so, of course, we've got to bring up our final queen joining us on this panel. And that is our favorite PK from the show, Brittany.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Hey, hello, Brittany.
We're good.
Showmate.
There you go. Did you guys get to meet on the show? Were you guys all there in the same day? Are you familiar with each other from being on stage?
Oh, okay.
No, we take different days. I think Regine, I think me and her taped the same day. We passed each other like going in and out, but no, I didn't meet anyone.
I don't even think we got to see each other at the premiere.
No, I'm actually in Atlanta, so I didn't make it.
Okay, makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, I was wondering, well, oh my goodness, like where do I begin? First of all, I love this show because it's so relatable. And even when it came to both your stories, I was like, yeah, okay. Because Brittany, I really thought, my dad, he is a 20-year retired Marine. He's a Christian, all these things. And I really couldn't keep away from the bad boys. I was really going to the streets for men.
It's hard not to. It's like, it's something about them that, it's different than what you're used to. So it's an automatic attraction.
Did you say the flavor?
The flavor.
It's just, I'm talking about tattoos, the braided hair, what set you claim, pants set, like
all
why did it have to go so far?
Yeah, I know, right? Far off the ledge, right?
I had no chill. Okay, well, let's just dive into this conversation. Raised by religion is such an amazing topic, especially for us Black women. Majority of us were raised in the church, whether it was Muslim, like you had Aisha, or Christian, like we're used to. And it's one thing or another. So let's see, where do I want to start with this? Like, how do you guys feel religion does or doesn't play a part in how you honor yourself when it comes to decision making?
You want to go first, Brittany? Go ahead, Britt.
Okay. Well, how does it, how do you honor yourself with religion? Well, for me, it was definitely, just coming into my own womanhood and deciding, what my own rules would be for myself. And when I created that, I created my own spirituality and my own beliefs. And, by honoring what felt good to me was honoring myself, not honoring what felt good to my dad or what was in the Bible or what I was being taught every Sunday or even what felt good to my mother. But, what felt good to me was absolutely honoring myself with my own spirituality.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I found myself doing the same thing. I haven't talked about it much, but I've actually walked away from religion. I'm 1 year out officially from like the title of things. And, I asked that because that was one of the biggest things that I struggled with. It was like I had gotten really uncomfortable making decisions for myself. Now, don't get me wrong. I love God. I think the Bible is great. I think everything Jesus has to offer is still a parable. Like I'm still here for it, but it's just the way that I go about the organization and the teachings and some of the restraint of it right now. I'm finding myself on the outskirts of the construct, so to speak. And, that was one of the things that I felt like kind of held me back in my life was not really learning how to make my own decisions, trying to people please when it came to my dad, my mom, and the people around the congregation. I know my mom went through stuff like that and she was pretty and cute and wanted to wear her little stuff and they didn't like her, so it was more restrictive than it was
absolutely
expansive.
I think that religion, as we were taught, and our parents, I think that it has kept us bound for the majority of our generations. It hasn't, especially when it comes to relationships and how we view relationships, how long we should stay, what we should tolerate, and probably bigger than anything, boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Setting boundaries. So I think that we're all at a place, what you ladies are saying is basically redefining. I was born into Islam, and then when my parents separated when I was around 5 or 6, we didn't go to the mosque, if at all, and I think my mom, she was a young mother. She was in her mid 30s or so, and she had 6 children, so that was a lot. So then as a teenager, my mother introduced me to Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism, which I love it. I love my chanting, all of that. But I also see myself as a spiritual being. You understand? I have a personal relationship with my God, so I pull anything that is God, I pull from. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that it's great for me and it's going to keep me flowing. And, so that's how I honor myself. And I always knew it was something more than just Islam, more than just Buddhism. My grandmother, my paternal grandmother founded an AME church in Newark, New Jersey. So I tapped into all of it because it all serves me. It all makes up Aisha, but we still have those little things and things we were taught growing up. So then we try to hold on, to that. But a lot of stuff is in our DNA, and it's hard for us to, if we're not conscious, it's hard for us to shift because a lot of times we're moving unconsciously and making decisions unconsciously, and that kind of get us all tripped up and stuff.
Yeah.
In situations.
Just all unconscious.
And sip to that.
Yeah. With the straw. Yeah, no, I love that the through line is really, I think, because I do still identify as Christian, but I have also pulled back from, basically had a moment over years ago where I just dropped it all and had to basically find and pick up the pieces for myself, but then also picking up some of those things that I think some people probably consider, evil, with, being able to have more of an appreciation with nature and with,
Mhm.
some of the things that might be considered more new age. But it was more about, one of the things that taken me through the journey was that separation of like me feeling like I had no identity, not being in tune with the expression of God within me, and being able
Mhm.
to really have a relationship, have an understanding, have a, um, I guess, yeah, just a unique understanding of just my own expression, and it not being this powerless, you know what I mean? Like really just
Mhm.
not having an understanding of my own power and the God that is within me, and it not just
Mhm.
being this God out there, but like
Mhm.
tapping in and
The
understanding the
likeness and the
power.
image.
Yes.
Yes, the
Mhm.
likeness and the
Yes.
image that I'm also created in, which means that I
Mhm.
have this power,
As
this
well.
ability to speak things as though they are, this ability to,
Mhm.
to heal and
Mhm.
all of that, and really just having more of that relationship of self. And
Yes.
so much of self,
Mhm.
is really diminished, I think.
Mhm.
Especially in the traditional sense
Right.
of religion and the way that we're raised. And so that for me was how I, was able to go on my own path. And I still, was brought back to some of the foundational pieces that I do still hold on and hold true. But
Mhm.
there is so much more freedom in
Mhm.
how I've been able to really just the spirituality. And I know we may go deep
Mhm.
into that, and I don't
Mhm.
want to go too far, but just all the different all the different ways. It's like, oh, that's new age if you use sage and crystals, and if you
Girl, you
want
better burn it, honey. You better
Okay.
shake it up in this biscuit. You better
Okay,
hit them
period.
corners. You better Palo Anto that ass.
Hello.
Get it?
Hello. Shoot.
And frankincense and myrrh come through here.
Hello.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
but being able to have an appreciation for the things that are just that have been created, and it's like I'm not worshiping these things, but they
Yes.
do have their own properties as well, outside of it being about spirituality, so it's just
Yes.
anyways, child.
You know,
I
something
we can
came.
go on and on.
You know how you watch
Yes.
IG and things just scroll up real quick, and it was this woman, a sister. It was about a week or so ago, and I'm mad because it moves so fast and I can't find it. And she basically was speaking, and she talked about slavery and it's becoming slaves, being stolen, and how they gave us this religion and basically took ours as well as our identity, as you know,
Mhm.
from us. And she was like, and they got us out here unprotected because we had our ways that we practice that is now quote unquote taboo. You
Mhm.
understand? That it wasn't, because what we know as Christianity now, which probably a lot back then wasn't even, we weren't really practicing Christianity. But we had our, I guess they would say the more ancestral practices, whether it was Yoruba, Akan, what they may call voodoo, whatever. We had different ways that we practice and worship, and I don't knock none of it because it's what works for you. You know what I'm saying? You have to find what works for
Exactly.
you, and you might have to pull from all of it because it
Mhm.
all leads you back to one.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so you just have to, you really have to find what works for you. You really have to. But and I believe that what I do believe is that spirituality, a connection to God, keeps you grounded and sets boundaries. So I think that I know I can speak from my personal experience that has always been my saving grace. Because I think that if your foundation is strong, if your boundaries are set strong, right, then
Mhm.
you're gonna bend, but you're not gonna break. You're
Yes.
gonna make
Mhm.
decisions that may not work for you, but you still got that protection. You
Absolutely.
understand? Because you didn't go way. You just went way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I think that's important. And meeting a man that got boundaries, or
Yes.
being with a mate that has boundaries. No, that's really important because
That is.
boundary
Yeah.
will say how far a person gonna go.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? How they
Yeah.
gonna talk to you, how they gonna treat you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Mhm.
and their
So,
own integrity,
That
like
Yes.
part.
let me tell you,
Exactly.
character and
Yes.
integrity is everything.
yes, it's
That
Yes.
part.
everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because if he doesn't create the necessary and healthy boundaries for himself with the people in his life, then he's definitely not going to create the boundaries that are needed within your relationship. And those people just going to walk all over you just like they walking all over him. So boundaries are necessary. Yes.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep. And your boundary might not work for the next person. Everybody's boundary level is different. So that's another thing we got to be careful of.
Yeah. That's very true. Just went to the chat really quick. Hey, SJ, thanks for tuning in.
SJ.
She says, hey, ladies. Yeah, that's such a main thing. I love that you brought that up, having, you know, your partner having integrity and boundaries and character. You know, I just think that's, well, being a good person is kind of vague, but there is a need for them to have some kind of desire to be a good person and some type of spiritual practice or whatever it is that they're going to do to make sure that they're in alignment, so you can figure out just how in alignment you guys are. Because I mean, it takes a long time to get to know somebody. So it's like there's only so many things you're going to go through up front or before a commitment is made, before you know exactly the totality of who you're dealing with under a bunch of different circumstances. So that anchor, those parameters, those boundaries, however they're defined within the person individually, are just so important. But for me, I remember I used to be really big on the whole, a God-fearing man, but now I feel like I found other ways to kind of define that, because as y'all know, sometimes in the church or in the mosque, you still obviously got the cheaters, the predators, the people who can't get it together. It's real colorful. So God-fearing wasn't enough.
Yeah. And I think integrity, character, how they, let me tell you something. If a man says he doesn't have a good relationship with his mother, that's when you're supposed to haul ass. You understand?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
No, if they don't have a good relationship with their mother, it's a problem, because that's your first love. If a woman doesn't have a great relationship with her dad, that's a problem. Because here's the thing, it's a problem when they don't acknowledge it and they're not working on it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or they haven't come to peace with it. Because for real, we have people that have brought us here, and some people you're not going to vibe with, and they can be your parents. But if you got people that's like constantly having like issues, I talk to a guy, first thing I start, if they don't mention their mother, their sisters, I ask and I listen for the response, right? To see how because if they get offended, you already know.
Right.
Don't step your ass up out of there. Exit stage left. Okay. No, for real. So I think those are really good. People gonna have quarrels and things like that, but like when it's like venom, nah.
That part.
Yeah, it's definitely an indicator of something deeper.
Exactly.
Sure.
Definitely.
So for you guys, we all seem to be like ladies who have a good handle on things. What are some of the spiritual practices that you guys engage in to kind of help you overcome some of the traits that you were experiencing or that have gotten passed down? Like you shared, Aisha, you shared like pride, ego, fear, and some of these things. Like, what are some of the spiritual practices that you guys are in to kind of, help you overcome some of these things and continue to move through life?
Well, for me, I stay in prayer. I move in prayer, and I'm not one of those super, no offense to them, super duper like religious people, and that's fine, but I stay connected. You know what I'm saying? I stay connected. Now, staying connected doesn't mean I'm not going to make mistakes. I'm not going to get caught up. I'm not going to choose wrong, if you will, so definitely prayer, meditation. I do my morning and evening prayers with my Buddhist practice. I'm actually taking, because I've been attending, when I lived in Los Angeles, I attended Agape.
I love Agape.
Yes.
Reverend Michael Beckwith.
Yes.
He's
so good.
He's the truth.
Yeah.
So I
so
actually been attending Unity, which is the same New Thought Christianity, New Age. And they have a mastermind workshop that I've been doing, like basically teaching how to pray. How do you communicate with God? Like I've been asking my friends, like I've been doing this for years, but it's not a right or wrong way, but you may have another way that may be able to help me get connected more. So just really focusing on that, because what's important for me is to be my best, better self that I can be. That's whether I'm in a relationship or not. You know what I'm saying? So I can show up for myself. Another book that I'm reading, I was gifted, it's called Impeccable Listening by Queen Afua. That book is really amazing. How we have to like tap in and listen, because when we're doing things unconsciously, we missing. Like I can tell you one person, this is out of my marriage, like this one person I met through someone that I knew, and the reason I connected to the person was because it was somebody that I met the person through, right? And not taking nothing from her. But when I look back at it and I see kind of some things in her life, she my people, but we're not in alignment with certain things, right?
Yes.
So I still remember the first conversation I had with dude. It was around Thanksgiving. I was preparing dinner and you listening, and my grandmother had recently passed away. I should have never the first You understand what I'm saying? But not being conscious, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I mean, obviously, when you're in tune, you get it real quick. They're like, oh, let me go ahead and burn incense and sage and throw it out the door because it's right here.
Yes.
Right.
This ain't this.
It's not
And
right.
then and be okay with praying for him. I wish, wherever he is, I just hope that he is well, his family is well. Release it, let it go.
See,
and I'm like, God, remove any soul ties that I might not even be aware of.
Yes.
Yeah. So for real. So yeah, those are the things that I do. And bathing, because I think washing your ass is important. Washing your ass is very spiritual.
Yes.
Extremely. Okay.
Get that energy.
Huge on that.
You know.
So, that's actually one of my biggest ones too, Aisha. I was going to say is for me, I think it's probably, I would just put it all within pampering. Like I love the spiritual baths of adding the essential oils,
your flowers, your lemons, and your oranges.
The oranges,
herbs,
things, the herbs. I also love to do the like exfoliating and speaking over myself, like as I'm, you know, as I'm showering. Yeah, like and so that to this, it honestly, I mean, it's a part of my own healing journey that of just overcoming a lot of just, you know, things with esteem and my own personal beliefs from like 10 years ago. And I didn't really realize what I was doing until it was like, oh, this is actually a spiritual practice. So just taking all of that in, you know, bathing myself, or after I bathe myself, putting on an oil that also has the same, you know, good properties of things, the ingredients that are, you know, good for our skin, that absorb just all of that. So that's
ash is the enemy. Now ash is a sin. Ash is a sin. It's a sin.
It should be
dry,
especially when it's in between seasons and it catch your ass out there on your elbow.
Oh yes.
That is so true.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and also I do my own yoni steams. I ain't no yoni technologist, but I know how to do mine at home, and I'll do my own yoni steams.
Right,
that's another healing thing.
I love that.
I'm still going out for that. I need to get one going on in years.
But you know what? It's so funny. A friend of mine, my very good sister friend, who used to do my colonics years ago. That's how we met through another friend, and it was the pandemic. And I was going to get my yoni steams before then. She was like, you know, you could do it at home, honey. Let me tell you about a good friend. When she send you a 5-quart pot in the mail.
Okay.
That's a good friend.
That's a good friend.
With your yoni steam ingredients.
I know that's
she was like, you can do this at the house.
Okay.
And I got my little stool to sit on, and I do it at home. Got my little gown and
come on, gown.
No, the womb
get your
is
music
very
popping.
important.
Yeah,
because there's so much that we hold there.
Yes,
so much.
Very much so.
What about you, Brittany?
Yeah, I know you shared a lot about self-care on the show. Yeah,
of course, definitely meditation, breath work. You know, like Kendra was saying, you know, just doing the affirmations, speaking to yourself, even mirror work, looking at yourself, you know, admiring the beauty, all the flaws that you see as flaws that others see as something beautiful, you know, and just changing your perspective about how you see yourself. I think that's something that I really had to work on is just, the self-esteem. Everybody else can think that you're beautiful, but if you don't feel that way, then, you have to do some inner work. So that shadow work of just recognizing my inner self and the love for myself, just, soaking in that was definitely a lot of the self-work that I do for myself.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love that. I remember the first time I tried mirror work, it was so awkward, and I had realized, like, wow, I never really sat and looked myself in the eyes and just forgave myself or told myself how beautiful, or just saw me. Even when we're doing our makeup and all of these things, we're not seeing ourselves. We're going through the motion, those unconscious motions that, we've been talking about. And it's something that I incorporated too, just every now and then, maybe not as often, but to still just be like, I see you, I forgive you for this. Yo, look, this is what we're doing. And like, oh my God, like you're beautiful. Look how far you've come. Like whatever I need to do to just get that, that connection.
Definitely. I think staying present too, and not just being so much in your head is definitely something that I've worked on too. It's just, silencing those thoughts that may not be as positive, or just sometimes we think about too much as women. We have so much to multitask on our minds, and just, in those moments of meditation and even exercise and working out, I noticed and realized like my mind is silent when I do that, because I'm focused on one thing. I'm present in those moments. So practicing.
Absolutely. The gym is my sanctuary. I am in there as often as possible. It's my happy place because it's just me and my body. I'm focused on my body, my reps, and it's a spiritual practice to me. I'm overcoming things. I'm pushing past. I'm celebrating my body. Working out so much is such a I'm looking at my feet like, thank you for carrying me through this life. My legs that work, my legs work, my arms work. Like just the fact that I can engage in all this healthily, like this is something I'm celebrating every day. Again, when we're going through things unconsciously, we're even missing those moments of gratitude and celebration for what we would consider basic. But it's not basic, because if any of those things were not to be going on, like you're gonna know, like that's gonna be, something you feel some kind of way about.
Absolutely. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. And Queen Aisha, I love when what did you say? You said something about listening to the intuition. And that's a huge thing, because I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be a forever thing that we're working on, because there's still sometimes where there's little things where I'll be like, oh, make sure to grab that, and then I'll be like, I'll hear to grab it. I'll be like, I don't really need that. Then I'll go home and there'll be a specific reason why I should have just picked up the doggone thing. So I still go through moments of where intuition may not be like, run from this man, but it's just like, grab this thing, like, do this or whatever. So I'm still trying to practice with the little things, to have the courage to trust that first voice, because that has not been my habit for 20 some odd years. Now I'm up here trying to tap into something that's so natural, but to have the courage to be able to execute, and even knowing how to make a move is still, something that I'm trying
I think
to share.
And I think the little things, like those little things, like today, I was like in the bathroom, like doing something, and Spirit just said, I was like, I'm gonna spray the tub down, and then Spirit just said, go ahead and clean that now. Go ahead and do this now. Because what happens, and it's those little things start to strengthen. Because what happens is with intuition and anything else, it's a muscle, right? So like you go to the gym, if we don't use it, we're gonna lose it. So it's about us trusting ourselves. So I take those little things, because like you were saying, you're in the store, like, and it just come like, you need salt. I don't need no salt. I don't really use salt. You know what I'm saying? But it might be that sea salt you want to throw in your bath water.
You know what?
Exactly.
So it's little things, it's little things like, okay, let me do this now, because we'll put things off like, I don't need to do that now. I don't need to get that now. I'll do it later. And then later something else happens, and then you find out you really need it. So I have compassion. I really practice having compassion for myself, but also not making excuses, especially for these little things that we know we could just do right now,
Yep. That's so true.
Yes, SJ in the chat agrees too. Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like you said, it's a muscle. Little by little, we get better. And then that way, when the bigger things come, it's okay. Because you know, even still, I remember dating this guy in New York, and I was new to Harlem, so it was different for me. And you know when you're the new kid at school, everybody got their eyes on you or whatever.
Right.
But
fresh meat, baby. Fresh
yeah,
meat.
fresh meat. I'm from California, shining. I'm up in these New York streets. Everybody's like, "Who is this, and why is she so happy?"
Ain't no sun out here. Ain't no sun out here in February.
Right.
Why she happy in the
Yeah.
snow?
Yeah. Just excited. And you know, there's this guy pursuing me, and I never thought anything of him. And one day I finally was like, all right, I'll go out with you. Whatever. I'm bored. And so we take this walk, and we were talking about some things. And there was something that he said that just made me feel like he was so closed-minded and unable to just have certain kind of open conversations. And my spirit right there was like, I would never date this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And what do I do? Can
Date
anybody
him.
guess? Yeah.
Date him.
You dated him.
I dated him. And I was like, I mean, he wasn't entirely a terrible person, but it was just like a stupid decision that wasn't for me. It wasn't where I was supposed to be. So sometimes it's like, yes, I give myself compassion, but I'm like, man, what did I possibly, obviously I needed it, but I'm like, what did I possibly miss out on while I was ignoring myself? Like my soul was like, no.
Yeah, but
And
also
then-
another way to be gentle with ourselves, because if you didn't know at the time, you didn't know.
You didn't know.
You did the best you could at that time. And like you said, you were bored. Because I done did some stuff. I've been bored. I'm like, ugh.
Right. What was I
Yeah.
thinking?
You know what I'm saying? You know?
Yeah.
So you did that. And then also it ain't nothing like a New Yorker, a guy from New York with the swag. You know what I'm saying? Y'all mean?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
know how to talk. They know how to talk.
You know, it's a little Ma action. What's up, Ma? You from Cali? You from LA, Ma?
Right.
I see you, shorty. Yeah.
All of that.
You like,
all
oh my God.
Like, what? Me?
Yeah, so, but you didn't know. I'm sure he showed
Yeah.
you around town. Ha!
And that's it. You take what you can get from it at that point, right? Like what
Right.
can
We
we
do have to stop wasting
Right.
time, but I get it.
Right, right.
Absolutely.
As long as you learn from it, though, because some
Yes.
people will continue to complete the same mistakes over
Because they
and
ain't
over.
get it. Because they ain't get it. And it's just like
No.
school. If you don't get it, you're going to get kept back
Exactly.
and you're going to repeat it. No, for real.
Exactly. No, yes, it is like school. You're right.
You're gonna stay back.
Mhm.
And you're going to have to repeat the grade again.
Mhm.
So it's like we got to get these lessons because another one coming.
Yes.
Another one is here.
Yeah.
Now, Brittany, in your interview, you said there was too many rules in Christianity, and you felt really comfortable with your boyfriend at the time's family. They were just so accepting and all these things. So when it comes to rules in religion, like, do you guys, what do you see? Do you think there's more freedom in it or more hindrance in it? Like, or a little bit of both? Like, what do you think about how that serves us?
Yeah, I definitely think there's more hindrance in it. From just experiencing life, when it comes to like not having sex before marriage, I think, and I say this delicately because I know there are still people that still believe in that, but I think that's wild, and pretty extreme to have to commit yourself to such a promise, to yourself, to God, to your family, when it is actually a little bit unfair and it is a hindrance, to stay a virgin until 30 years old or beyond, or even 20 years old. I mean, whatever time, because some people will say losing your virginity at 20 is young. Whatever you think for yourself, or believe for yourself ultimately is what will work for you. But I just say that some rules are a little extreme in my opinion, and I do believe that they are a hindrance because maybe at 25, if you lost your virginity and you got a little bit of an experience, then maybe you'll know what you'll want next time. You'll know how you want to be touched and pleased, but when it's your first time, you don't know much. You're just going off of that one person, and then to trust that the person you married is the one you're going to be with forever, and I think that's a lot to put into one person and to have to carry for yourself as a woman, just the idea of being with one person forever and then losing your virginity to this one person that you think you're going to be with, but you just never really know. So it's a lot of uncertainty in it. And yeah, ultimately, I do think it's a hindrance, stuff like that. Not everything. There might be freedom in some things and, ultimately protecting our children. I think it's the whole message behind it, you know, and people not making decisions too soon. But again, what is too soon when life is meant to be an experiment to experience? So yeah, it can be a hindrance.
You know, and if I can add to that, you know, our great great grandparents, my great grandmother, I think she was 14 when she got married. You know, so I think a lot of these things, not picking on the Bible, but some stuff also were written in parables, whereas though people at that time would be able to understand. It's not literal like the way the way it's written, and
Right.
people share that information. So I think that we have to be very careful about that. I don't think it's anything wrong with being with dating one person, being with one person, and I think the two individuals have to, one, before they come together, kind of know what works for them, what they're looking
Yes.
for in a mate. But what's crazy is that everything has a reason, season, and lifetime, except for marriage.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
work a job, you leave when you outgrow it.
Yeah.
You know, and then we
Mhm.
feel bad about leaving this marriage because it said till death do us part. The death can be the outgrowing.
Yes.
Right.
That's a death.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
Right.
like a lot of people they're in these they're in marriages, relationships, and they are dying. They are
Yes.
suffering
Mhm.
because they're like, but
Yeah.
Yes. The truth.
It's so true. You know what's
yeah,
interesting?
it's just like you leave your job, you leave your mama house, you leave your daddy house, your kids leave your house. You ain't pregnant forever. A reason, a season,
Come
or a
on.
lifetime.
Come on.
Ice cream, it sells better in the summertime.
Come on.
Ice cream truck, you know what I'm saying? So no, I mean
Fruit
just
too.
these things. So I think that we have to be careful. That's why I think it's so important for people to do their research on their own to find. Just really think about it.
Yeah.
Think about any religion. A lot of the religions, people were born into them, their faiths, and this is not to shoot down religion. They were born into them. So some people have not really did the homework and research to say, does this work for me? Or is this because I was born into it and I'm continuing to do it the same way you go to work?
Yep.
Like when DC, we joke about you got a good government job. You know what I'm saying? You get the job, you can get in there because somebody got, and you're just going and going and going because that's what you know. Because really, when you think about it, unless someone really has a breakthrough in their life or something is really shifting in their adult life, and some teenagers, do they really start to look at another practice, faith, or spirituality? It's something that they do, right? Because if my parents were still together, I would probably, if not now, but up until probably my early adulthood, I would still have been practicing Islam. And it's nothing wrong with it. It's a beautiful community. But I mean, what would have made me really step out? I probably would have married. My former husband was Muslim, but he's a Muslim from West Africa. But I probably would have married a Muslim from New Jersey, where I'm from. You understand? Not saying anything would have been wrong with it, but I'm just saying, because that's what I was brought up in, and that's the community I was around. So that's what you do.
Yes.
Yeah. I was gonna speak to how I don't know if it's, well, actually, no, it is a hindrance. We don't talk about the balance of how that message of purity is so focused on women and it doesn't get focused on men. And then on the other side of it, on the other side in marriage, where, you know, a woman has waited until, let's say she's 35, you know, and it's her first time, she has no idea what she likes. She has no idea of her own body because there's, you know, even a lot of shame around masturbation and exploring and having certain thoughts and all of that stuff, right? Like there's a lot of shame and fear with that. And so by the time that she's married and, you know, in a relationship, and even if she is marrying that man of God, he also has this expectation that she's swinging from the chandeliers and, you know, that it's about to be on and popping, but it's like she doesn't know what to do, you know what I mean? And she doesn't know herself and really, you know, so then there's this discovery phase that happens and it can be very awkward. And I have some close friends who've gone through it and it was a really tough time. And you know, it's like, what do you do, you know? And so I think on that end, it's it can be a disservice, really, because again, I
Yes.
think that
Yes.
that message it gets, especially in Christianity, in my experience, it was definitely more, driven into a woman's purity and not so much the man. And so you have all of these unhappy marriages for other reasons.
Yeah.
And I think for friendship, I think honestly, with
Mhm.
any, whether it's
Yes.
whatever religion, spirituality,
Yeah.
I think friendship is very important. Because
Yeah.
I think that you can take people that are young, that are friends, and they're having their first sexual experience together, but because of that friendship, they can make it through, right? They
Mhm.
kind of grow and explore it together, because any relationship is work.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you're living with someone and this is your spouse, your life partner, your helpmate, and here's my thing, marriage is beautiful. I don't have to get married again, but I can be with my life partner, my helpmate. Because because it's really about a commitment. It's really about my word is my bond. I'm going to commit myself to you. You have a lot of people that's married. I was in and that's not what it was.
Mhm.
You understand? So it's really about going back to character and integrity. And then we're going to touch on another thing about swinging from the chandeliers. If I see one more woman at her wedding reception popping her ass in front of her husband,
Oh
in
my
front of the
goodness.
guests, like what are we doing?
Yeah.
Why is that? I think it's this. Here's the thing: the woman gets so much pressure of, oh, you got to be a virgin when you get married. You can't sleep with this many men. The whole thing with the woman needs to be pure is that's to protect the male ego. That because he can't fathom someone hitting it better than he did.
Hello.
Ooh.
Hello.
Was it said? Was it said?
Okay, that's what that is. Now when you grown, because grown people do grown people stuff, right? You know, if I'm 52 and popping,
hello,
I ain't only been with you. I done had life experiences, and you ain't only been with me. Like, let's be for real. Let's be grown.
Be for real.
Yeah.
Let's be grown. If I come in here and I do a cartwheel, don't be mad and be like, oh, damn, she did a cartwheel. She never did a cartwheel. I bet she never did that with nobody else. No, I've been flipping through life, yo.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like, we got to be real. Like, and I think that's where the ego, the pride, you being obnoxious.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. And I don't have to sit down with you and tell you, and you have to tell me what's important. I don't need to tell me. I don't want to know everybody you've been with. It's not a jealousy thing. You done had life. I done had life.
Yes.
Tell me what I need to know. What your blood look like. You understand? Those types of things. I need to know that type of stuff. I don't need to know anybody you've been with. I don't need to know that. And you don't need to know anybody I've been with. And if I do cartwheel, just know I do cartwheel shit.
Look, I'm like cartwheels.
And handstands, honey. I think that it's a lot of pressure on women.
It is a lot of pressure on women.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
That we have to define ourselves.
Yes.
Yep.
And be okay with it despite the constant chatter that is against what women are, what women doing, what women not doing, blah, 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 blah. It's like there's just so much going on, especially when it comes to social media where everybody seems to be at odds about things. But at the end of the day, it's like what you said, we're grown. Let's just have a conversation of what is important to us. But we're also conditioned to follow these things. And at this point, all of it is out of context. I mean, even if you are looking, from the Bible and the submission and what it should be in traditional this and you didn't know what it meant when you read it. Now you're hearing it from 300 people down
translated
and on Twitter. So
she said, and on Twitter. See, first of all,
Twitter, the podcast, like, yeah.
The IG, everybody got an opinion. I'm like, damn. And it's nothing wrong, but who are you listening to? It's the same. I forgot who said it. Don't argue with a fool because they might think both of y'all fools.
Yeah.
Because
don't listen to everybody. And I'm actually on a social media fast. So if it's not for me posting and have to put something, I'm not. It's too much.
It's a lot.
It is. It is. It's a lot of confusion on social media. And that's why I think everybody is listening to so many different people because they think they're telling the truth because they sound knowledgeable, but they're just saying what they think, and then you have a whole bunch of people believing what someone thinks based off of actually giving facts. So yeah, it's a lot of
I had
things.
this the other day. I was just going. I said, social media to me is like being at the family reunion. You know, everybody standing around talking, and they
Yes.
gave the wrong person the mic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And but it just keeps going around and around. I'm like, everybody, like we're human beings. We want attention. We want to be
Yes.
heard. But everybody got something to say. And you wrong. You wrong. You out of all types of order.
Yeah.
You know, so we cannot, especially with our spirituality, something that is, that's our foundation. You know, so it's fine. You can, if you want to listen to that person, fine, go listen to that person. But now go do your research.
That
Go
part.
fact. Go
Yes.
fact check. Or as my mother would tell me when I was younger, go look the word up. Go get the dictionary. You know what I'm saying? So do your own research. And there ain't nothing, no reason that anybody should be struggling to know anything, because all of this stuff is at our fingertips.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Yep.
And I'll
So you
add,
can-
do the research off of social media, because
That
that's
part.
the other
Right.
thing too.
Right.
Like a lot of people
Yes.
will use memes as, you know, their data to back up what it is, and it's like you have to qualify that too. Like, get a
Right.
book.
Yeah. Well, I
You
mean,
know, get
and
a
then when you
book.
Google it, read a few
Yes.
stories, not
Like,
the
do the
first
work.
story.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
like don't go with the first.
Yes.
If you see it a couple of times and they stand, and you can go back to 1955. They said the same thing in 2005. Then it might have some truth to it, but you got to keep looking. And we're not doing that because it's available to us, but we're very lazy.
Yes.
Very.
Very. And you know, we're also spiritually lazy because
Oh,
if we're leaning,
yes.
you know, we're
Yes.
leaning on these things. And again, this is definitely not to knock religion. Listen, my first words in Go Time was all the Bible stories. Okay. I'm like 18 months, like, and Moses and Jonah and what. So it's, you know, but when we're leaning on, you know, these preachers, that's still, although it's good, it's still kind of like their perspective of things. When we read the Bible, the parables and things like that. Yeah. But it's like, for me, really diving into spirituality and the God within me and not being lazy about it, I feel some kind of way when I hear something that doesn't make sense to me. I don't need to go fact check notebook. That didn't resonate. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there. And I think we're getting to a day and age where that is probably going to be one of the more and most important things, because yes, we have books, but think about the people, like how these books is going away. Everything's online. Things online can be manipulated. Now you have AI, and we've already had history and our school curriculums and stuff tampered with and mixed. So do we ever really know what we're hearing? Like, we better be real in tune, because when you hear something, you need to be able to eat the meat and spit out the bones just through this filter only. At some point.
And you know, it's just funny you said that, because, you know, like, it's funny because it's like, you know, you have books, you're like, oh, I don't need this book. It's certain books that I keep. Some books I'm like, okay, I read this book, I'm good with it, I'm gonna pass it on, donate it or whatever. But that brings up another point, because it's certain books you just have to be able to go and reference. Certain books you need to keep to be able to pass down through the family or whatever. So that's a good point. Because a lot of times people, I don't need this book anymore. Certain books we need to keep.
Yes.
We need to hold on to.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree.
One of the things that I typically stick to is Sister India.Arie, you know the truth by the way it feels.
Honey, you better.
There you go.
And, you know, and I think, like, to
Jamie's
point, you know, you might not have, you know, all the theological knowledge or whatever, but when something hits you, your spirit, your body will react. And so you will feel when it's resonating and when it's not. And it's okay to trust that, even if you can't always explain it, because I think that's also the thing about intuition, is like, you don't always know why you're doing something. It may not, you know, be clear of like, okay, I guess maybe I've got this extra salt, now I got 2 bottles, you know what I mean? Like, you never know when you'll need it, you know, like, it's just something so simple, you know, you're not always going to have the explanation in the moment. It can take years, time, and sometimes it may be unknown, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't still trust, you know, the way that you're feeling, you know, that's communication too.
That right there, that part. No, that, because you know. And they say you know. And it's really about doing the work. And I think that goes back to us building the muscle, because I think as we build the intuition muscle, it comes to us quicker. We get it faster. Now, if you choose to respond and accept it, is up to you. But it comes to you.
Yeah,
definitely. agree.
Yeah, that's true. And SJ said, she said, I typically just buy the person the book because no, you can't borrow it. Like, she's like,
No, that's true too. It's certain, it's certain books. No, you got to know who to loan a book to.
Right.
And let me tell you something. I can get real petty. Let me tell you what I do. I will loan someone a book, and like if it's a hard cover and it comes with you can take the cover off of it. I take my cover.
Mm-hmm.
That let me know that I loaned this book out. I got books that's missing now. I go to people's house and I go to their house and I'll be looking and stuff, and I just look inside because I write my name in my books.
Yes.
And I'll be looking. That's not your book. That's not your. Well, my name in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, buy the person the book. Send them Amazon gift card, whatever. Blah blah blah. Get the book. Do that for yourself.
Right.
Yeah, and even back to the spiritual. When Keandra, you were talking about you hear things that too. I was just thinking about being on top of our spiritual practice because our bodies will let us know, but if you can't hear because you're always high, always drunk, or always distracted, or always medicated, or always there's just so many things when it comes to spiritual hygiene that sound just like our our spiritual baths and whatnot. It's like baths for the mind, our eye gates, our ear gates. Like we got to know when our nervous system is off and overworked, and like Aisha, taking the social media. When you need a social media break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to take it. You can't get the FOMO and continue to engage, and now you really can't hear yourself. You're scattered and frazzled and just alive.
Yeah. And it takes, social media is great, but it takes a lot of distractions. You watching this person post this person doing this, whatever they're doing, and that's fine, and it's great, and it's worked for them, and whoever you can support, you support. But a lot of times we're putting so much energy into that, we're negating our personal self, our businesses, spirituality, rest, all that. I'll be looking at people like, I will stop. I've done it, but they will walk down the whole aisle in a supermarket or down the street and go across the street, and they ain't looked up yet.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that. There's nothing that I need to have my attention to that point.
Yeah, it seems like there's like a possession with it. I don't know if people are being like hypnotized into it, or just what is drawing them so near to being magnetized to getting on social media. I was just talking to a couple of my friends today, and they were just saying like, I want to get to a point where I don't wake up and get on Instagram. And I'm just like, well, what is pulling you? What is forcing you to do
I
this?
didn't even know.
This is
I
you.
can't.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like at a certain point, like you said, there is a lot of energies and a spiritual warfare going on social media, and being able to recognize I need a break, or I'm going to structure my life a certain way to where I do it at a certain time. I post what I need to and get off. I think that keeps you spiritually aligned and not getting so caught up in the madness.
Yeah.
And turn off all the notifications.
Yes,
my notifications are off.
I don't have any. I think the only one I have on is I think text, but I often turn on, the do not disturb, and I cannot deal with a ton of notifications.
Right. It's too much. It's like everything. You get the GPS going off, and then you get a thing. I'm like, this is
it's a lot.
It's not good for my.
Then you open up
Yes.
Then you open up YouTube, and they done heard everything you're talking about. We're gonna open. They're gonna talk about everything.
Yes.
Everything. I think that is so disrespectful.
Yes, it is.
So
They're spying on us. That's right.
Honey, that's looking right now disrespectful. She said it's disrespectful. So what do we sell to her that is not disrespectful?
Correct. We all see courses and pamphlets and
I think that's too much. Yeah.
Yes.
No,
seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a hypnotized, because I have to deliberately make sure that I'm not doing these things. Like I don't get up and the first thing is Instagram, but I can tell that if I'm on it all day before, I'll have that input, and I'm like, no, we're not doing that. Go get your water, go to that brush, get your fresh
take
air,
a walk,
stretch, do something.
Right.
Yep. Meditate, and then we can get into all of that. But it has to be deliberate, because it is very easy. You use the word hypnotize. I think that's exactly what it is, because I think I'm headed toward a little social media break myself. Like I call it post no scroll, because I feel like I want to post.
Yep.
But I don't need to be doing that, because I kind of feel like I'm just like
But this what I do. Just post. See what I do. I just post. I post,
And
I
leave.
check my messages.
Yeah.
And if
Get
I mean,
out.
when I tell you, like, I'm not doing social media, I ain't doing like the television, the news. I started for the new year. It's too much. Like, huh?
Yeah.
So if somebody sends me a TikTok or something by text, depending on who sent it,
Yes.
because I know who sent what type of stuff, right? If I'm open it or not. You know, and if I open it, I'm like, I'm not doing that because there's nothing wrong. But it's like I need to focus on me. You know what I'm saying? I have things that I need to be working on with myself. And we'll get so caught up and just get so caught up and just taken off of our path of whatever it is that we're working on. I don't care if it's cooking breakfast, going to the restroom, drinking your water, all of that stuff. So until we have like a discipline, like, okay, I need to do these things first. And ain't none of that stuff. I ain't seen no stuff that's really like got me like, because 90% of that stuff that's coming through is just, and it's not, I'm a comedian. So I like to joke and laugh and stuff like that. But I'm like,
what
really?
You ain't funnier than me.
and no, it's not even that. It's just like, because I think some stuff is just buffoonery.
Yeah. Oh,
you understand? I think some stuff that we are putting on social media, keep that at your house.
For one.
You know, because even I'm still kind of like when they have the little kids doing stuff, I'm still kind of like
that.
In between certain. It depends on what they're doing. That's you know. So just don't. Everything ain't for sale. Your character, and your integrity is not for sale. You can't put a price on those things.
Come on.
I really am sensitive towards the ones where like the parents are traumatizing the kids, like you know the ones where they would I'm trying to think of the one that was the most recent where they were basically like so and so, you know, we about to go and fight this person. I don't know.
The little girl, and she was ready, honey. That little girl was ready.
Yes. You want me to go put on my jacket? Like,
come on, let's go. But what are we teaching?
What are we teaching? And just
we got
like,
serious stuff going on. What are we teaching?
It's like kids do not have the tools to discern and reason the same way that we do. So it's like they're not equipped for that. Like, and some of those kids were really like, so what do you want me to do? And like, you want me to go fight them? And and just
and then the other little girl, she's trying to explain her story, and her sister is ready to defend her. And I get it, right? I get it, but I'm just like, but also here's the thing: if it was safe for real, it was in real time. Why did you feel the need to one, record it, and two, post it?
That's the thing that I don't think that they realize, that these kids are going to have to grow up one day, and you can't delete off the internet unless you got billions of dollars and you got a connection. But for the most part, it's going to be on there. And how do you think that's going to make them feel?
And I don't think people understand that. I don't think people really get that.
No.
That's the part I don't think they get.
See, we weren't raised like that, and that's what's concerned. We didn't have this, like,
exactly,
and we're not that old. Like, Instagram ain't even 10 years old, so don't even try. You know, it didn't exist, so it's just like, I don't know what the residual effects, how it's going to compound, and what this is really going to look like over time. But it's a little concerning, and it is one of those things that want to make me stay detached as well. Like, let me keep my mind. I don't know, because if you're getting so used to seeing all this stuff, and like I said, now it's AI now, so it's like I basically don't want to be tricked, because I'm so conditioned to seeing things a certain way that now I can't differentiate. That's one thing that concerns me, that I'm watching out for.
Exactly,
because it's a slow drip. You know what I mean?
It is.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, I done seen somebody's child. They had a magazine, and she in the magazine trying to. And I'm like, baby, it's paper. You gotta.
Don't do that.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just.
Girl, bye.
Different times.
Like when the one that's funny is when they be trying to teach Jake Child how to use the phone. The house phone. That right there is hilarious. That's hilarious.
I haven't seen that one.
But also
makes me feel 80 years old.
It's like some of them, unless their parents are really intentional, they don't really know how to communicate.
Yes.
Because they're always in their phone. You say good morning to them, they mumble, or they just look at you like, you're supposed to text that GM.
Yes, they're turning into zombies.
Yeah.
You know,
and this is not cool. Mhm.
You know what I'm
No.
saying? I've had friends get fired from work because they took out their phone to start recording something that's going on. You're supposed to be working. You're actually
Mhm.
supposed to
Yeah.
be stopping what's going on, but you're so caught up in your phone that
Mhm.
you forgot the difference between reality and social media. Just that
Yeah.
fast. Like,
Yep.
And to
Yep.
know when something is just not content. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it's
Mhm.
like,
Yes.
don't just record me because, I'm in the store and my hair
Mhm.
might not, you know what I mean? Like, whatever
Mhm.
it is, like, everything is not content. Like, let's stop.
But some stuff you need to record because when you explain it to somebody, they're not gonna believe you.
No.
I had to know because I'm in Atlanta and it'd be a lot of a million out of order things
Keep it
happen.
in the
That
text
is
thread.
true.
It's on the text thread.
Now I don't
That
post
is
it.
true.
I don't necessarily post it. But one of my girls, she's like, Aisha, I told you don't be doing that. And I said, see, I'm gonna send this to you. She said, oh, I can't unsee it now.
Yes.
Because I couldn't explain this to you, and you wouldn't have believed me if I told you.
No,
They be
that's
like
true.
some of the stuff you tell that happens in Atlanta, and I can only speak where I'm at. That people be like, nah, it ain't that bad. Let me send you some footage.
And you
Let
like,
me show
come
How
in.
long have you been there now, Aisha?
Oh wow, 5 years. 5
Okay.
years.
Nice.
Mhm. Yes, 5 years.
Okay.
So yes, but yeah, Atlanta has a
Special.
lot. LA, this is Wakanda. And it's all what kind of people you want.
Yes,
They
it
here.
is.
No,
Yeah,
Atlanta got a lot going on, but it's a lot of thirsty here.
Okay.
Yeah, it had a lot going on. I didn't know how I really felt about the vibe. I went twice, and it was cool for what it was, but it didn't make me want to move there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It
I just
has
wasn't
a lot
sure.
for entertainment. It has a lot, and
Yeah.
I
Okay,
think
see,
that
that's yeah.
I think that because of that, if a person is trying to find their way or not sure who they are, what they want to do, or whatever, the way they present themselves and go about things is interesting. And then it's a lot of our cousins that are entertainers that are here. And then I think that also they become vulnerable because you have the quote unquote have-nots that think they can't get what else somebody else got. It just be a lot. It just be a lot. I'd be like, okay.
Like a big smash.
Yeah. I mean, I love it because I love to see my people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I also decided going to the Caribbean and Africa. DC, Atlanta, that's where you're gonna see your people for real.
Yeah, that's true.
We everywhere.
I was gonna say I'm in Houston and I get my fill.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying? So those cities where you're seeing us, and especially
A lot.
businesses like in Atlanta, it's going to be a lot of Black businesses. A lot of Black businesses. You want to eat, you can eat.
Yes.
There's food everywhere. You're going to pay.
Food everywhere.
Yeah. So it's like Houston, Atlanta. Yeah.
That's what I love about coming down south. It's like you can definitely go somewhere where you're going to get a home cooked meal that's that has Black people in the kitchen. I hate to say it, but I mean, like in California, it's not many Black people in the kitchen. Native Americans, whatever we want to call it, that we're not in the kitchen. And I just love knowing I can come home to Houston because my dad is from Houston. And yes, that's home for me.
Oh yeah, that's right. All of the churches out here, they're about their church out here.
Okay, right.
You preacher, yes. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we started talking a little bit about sex, and I kind of want to bring it back to there just to dive in a little bit
because it's
deeper.
important.
It is important. Like,
yeah.
Sidebar, right?
Right.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
Right.
It is.
I mean, so
let me moisten my lips while we talk about it.
Right. So, what are you guys? What are your thoughts on sex, and when do you think is a good time to have it or start having it? And I could say start having it from the beginning and to have it when you are in relationship. Like, what are your thoughts on when that should be happening, or the thought processes, or what are your thoughts on sex and when's a good time to have it?
I definitely think, like Queen Aisha was saying, I think it should be a time where it's a friend that you trust. Someone that you may have known for a while, that it's a mutual decision that you guys make. I don't think there's any right age limit. I would hope above 18, but I ain't gonna say that. People do it, like like she said, they were getting married back in the days at 14. So I don't like to put age limits on things. I don't know. I don't believe in age or things like that. But I definitely think when you feel like you're ready, just be with someone that you trust and have known and have a friendship with. I think that's the right time, like, to explore. Now, don't dive in and think that this is forever. It can be if you want it to be, if y'all both want it to be, but explore a little, I think.
Yeah, I think that's good because I think it's the expectation that really gets people like, it's sex. And then once we do it, we're just like tied forever. And I mean, it would be nice to stay tied for a while, but I think just the way we speak about it and the hype, not the hype, but what we put on it just kind of makes the mind maybe exacerbate the connection a little more than it really is. And I don't want to downplay it either.
Of course.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I think sex is a spiritual thing. It's spiritual.
Yeah.
So I think that you exchange energy with someone else and everybody they exchange energy with and vice versa.
Yes.
So definitely with somebody that you trust. Now, the trust doesn't have to, someone that you've known, it doesn't have to be that you've known for 20 years, 10 years. That this is a person that you both are feeling each other. Y'all are connected. You know what I'm saying? And this is what y'all want to do. Now, if it's a thing where it's just a sexual relationship, this is my friend, we're having sex. I don't think it's anything wrong with that relationship. I think the issue is going to come in if you both are having sex and y'all having sex with multiple people. That becomes a lot.
Ooh,
you see what I'm saying? That becomes a lot. That's a menage a trois you ain't signed up for. You know what I'm saying? Or you were unaware of. So that's the thing. It's nothing wrong with sex. When I was 12, my mother was like, sex is a beautiful thing. I was like, I know. Anyway.
I mean,
so I think that I think that's the important part. And I think that with sex, with someone that you trust, y'all trust one another, you're getting to know each other and explore one another. For me personally, you become more comfortable. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be doing cartwheels to me. Cartwheels and somersaults at everybody. You understand what I'm saying? Like everybody don't get or do that. That's me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
Everybody don't the circus.
Yeah,
I like that. Everybody don't get the circus. Everybody can't go to the circus.
Yeah. No.
Sometimes you might only be able to walk in and get some cotton candy.
And that's it.
A little bit of popcorn.
You're not going to get the whole extravaganza of the circus.
You know what I'm saying? You're not going to see the trapeze walk.
Exactly. For whatever reason, we just ain't click like that, right?
Right.
Yeah. Right.
And sometimes we feel close to somebody and think it's time, and you be like, "Nah, this wasn't it." It could be that it happened and it just didn't. You didn't connect like that, or like, you know what? I took an L on this one. You know what I'm saying? Like this wasn't it. So, but I think sex is beautiful. I don't think that we should have any shame around sex. I think that desiring someone desiring you, I think all that's human nature.
Yeah,
agreed.
For sure. I think too, I'll add that whenever you feel that you can handle, like you're responsible with whatever those consequences will be, right? Because there is still, as adults, there are times when it may be with someone that you're not in a relationship with. And, if there's the risk of, contact and what you can, maybe contract, even though it's just through touching or just through, with the condom, there are certain things that can still pass through. And if you feel responsible enough to deal with any of those consequences, then, then have at it. And also the emotional and spiritual too. I mean, I am one of those women that believe that you can have sex as a woman with someone and not necessarily feel the connection, but there are times when you might become a bit more entwined with them, emotionally and not necessarily be able to explain, like, why am I so attached? Why am I so hooked? What is it about?
Where did that come from?
Where did that come from? Right. And not
what is it? But
understand it.
If it's healthy, it's beautiful.
Yes.
If it's healthy, it is beautiful.
When
that's
it's
a vibe
healthy
right
and reciprocated.
And it ain't gotta be sex. It's a beautiful, it's a beautiful vibe.
It's top tier,
Yeah.
actually.
It really, that's some, you like, oh God, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, really?
And it ain't
Really?
sex. That's just a whole nother, you like, what the,
Mhm.
we're
Your
so much
countenance
like,
changes. You're
I know, you
like,
just be like, I attracted me? What the? You know what I'm saying? It's dope. Yeah.
glowing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Maybe a
definitely.
once in a lifetime. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yes to everything that you guys said. You guys hit all of them. I was thinking of all of those things. Yeah, just being ready, knowing what the consequences are for you. And I don't mean consequences in a negative way, but just the way you said it, Keandra, and just, But I think that, when it comes to religion and being raised by religion, there is a lot of shame and guilt that can be invited into the equation when it comes to that. And you kind of spoke a little bit about it, to Keandra with, okay, now we're married and I'm like, I don't want to show my body and I don't feel this or that because I've learned that it was bad. It was bad to be sexy. It's bad to, do all this. And now I'm supposed to hop into marriage and be sexy for my husband, this man with an appetite. And there's all these girls walking around and all of this stuff going on. And you have no idea what to do because sex has been, shamed. So I just think that, Queen Aisha, that's great that at 12, your mom was like, sex is beautiful. Because I just feel like, I didn't get the, all I learned was, no sex before marriage. And when I was like 15, my dad popped in a little cassette from the VCR about STDs. And I just was like, okay, like, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't know. Y'all supposed to tell me what I'm supposed to do when this boy touches my waist. And I'm trying to do something. Like, give me some mind about
But they gave us the best they could. Because a lot of parents, they wasn't until you like, what happened? They be like, don't come home pregnant. Well, how you get pregnant?
Right.
How do you even get pregnant? Those types of things.
Might have slipped and fell on something. Because that's basically how quick it happened. Okay, I didn't even know. Don't tell me about that. Okay.
Exactly. And then now we got parents that's telling and doing too much. It's like, where is the balance?
Oh my God! Right? Where's the balance?
Where is the balance?
Give me the fine line. But I think it's best to be open so people. I don't have kids yet, but I feel like when I get there, it's not. I don't believe that your mother telling you that sex is a beautiful thing was going to make you go rush out and just see.
No.
Life is still going to life. But to be informed is the best thing that you can do on all fronts. So that way you can go in equipped and make decisions. And that makes you strong as an individual. It makes you confident, especially as a woman, because I mean, depending on how you were raised too or who you were around, I feel like a lot of people, were manipulated into things. You being talked out your drawers, because you don't know how to maneuver.
But how they talk you out your drawers? Why you wearing panties? You ain't even supposed to be wearing panties.
Oh, I'm not.
Let me help you take your panties off.
It's a mess now.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah,
wow.
We just gotta keep it real.
Yeah, no, true. I feel like that conversation between you and your mother made a comfortable space between y'all so that it wasn't so much like you wanted to rebel or find out what she was talking about. It more so was just like a cool conversation. Like you said, yeah, Mom, I think it is too.
When she said it, I was like, I don't even know why it came up, but I was into New Edition. Because I just knew I was getting Ralph Tresvant something. He was getting. Because I was his candy girl. He was going to get something. It's the end. I was his popcorn love. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was just, but my mom has never really been caught up in it. She may have before us and then, in her practice in Islam and stuff, but she real free and regular. It's always funny because my mother look at it, she'd be like, they act like they just found out they had a penis. They act like they just found out they had a vagina. I don't understand what's going on because it's like everything is sex. It's like, this is human nature.
Yeah.
She has 6 children. She's an only child. And she's like, I wish somebody would ask me if I like sex. She said, I'd be like, I got 6 kids. But you have 6 kids.
What do you think?
So it's just those types of things. And I'm not a person that, and I think also with my Islamic practice being brought up that way, and I think that is just something that was just downloaded in me, I've never been one that has been loose. You know what I'm saying? Now, what you define loose is what you got people that's all over the place doing the most, and that's fine if that works for you. That's never been my thing. You know what I'm saying? If I'm kicking it with somebody, I'm kicking it, and if that's what we do, we do. You know, in marriage, you know, that's what it. Because even in my marriage, I would put it on freeze if my intuition was telling me something else.
Yeah, especially with the man that you had, what he had going on.
Yeah, so you know. Okay, so yes, so I think that you have to find your space. I think that goes back to the boundary and the foundation, not out there just being like loose. You know, I vibe with who I vibe with, and that's what it is. You vibe with who you vibe with, and you might vibe with somebody that don't vibe with you, and vice versa. And that might save you from, body counts too.
Straight up. Yes, no, I agree. All that is such good stuff. I was cracking up because Regine, another woman on y'all show, she was just like, I was making sex jokes in the church. I was trying to figure out and find out what was going on. And she made me out when she said she met the dude on the app and was like, I'm trying to have the sex. And you know, they did it.
She said, I'm here for a mission.
Okay. She was serious about that. I love that.
Yeah, she cracked me up. She was beautiful.
I think it's dope when women take their sexual power. I think that not to manipulate or be disrespectful to anyone else, but I think that's sexy.
Yes.
That you own your sexuality, your beauty, your swag, all of that, and you can say, "Yo, I'm trying to have sex with you.
Yep.
I want you to knock. I want you to."
Blow my back out.
Right.
I want you to blow my back out. I want you to fog my glasses up and knock the contact loose. Let's do it. Pull my back out, yo. Like I think that when you say that to a man, not a male, when you say that to a grown man, even if he ain't capable, he gonna try his ass.
He gonna figure it out.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about being like he just gonna like really try and please you.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. I think that's sexy. Like I'm here for a mission. I'm trying to do what I do. You know.
Yeah.
Get what I gotta get. See what this whole wearing no panties is all about. I'm trying to figure it out.
You know, it's good for the hygiene too.
Yeah.
Gotta let it breathe.
Good for your immune system.
Yes.
Yes.
Just saying. Self-care.
Yeah. Okay. Gravity. Keep them legs up.
It's true. It is what it is. It's healthy too. What is it? I see all these statistics and studies, and I don't know how accurate they are, but it sounds good. But it keeps you young, keeps you available, it keeps you popping, it keeps you fresh. You know, all of the hormones and estrogen, everything that's supposed to be running, going, and flowing. Collagen, your skin be looking brighter. Like it is a part of the health of life.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I was gonna ask, and I didn't know how to ask. So, one of the last questions that I had was, how do you guys feel religion played a part in you not being equipped to walk away from a situation? Because I know little Miss Grace and Understanding over here and took that beyond my own self-worth at sometimes, but I didn't realize I was doing it because it's like you forgive and everybody makes mistakes. And so how did religion play a part in your self-image and not being able to walk away, maybe giving too many passes to somebody who didn't deserve it?
Interesting. Woo. Well, I think that religion played a part when I guess stepped away and took religion out of the equation, because I was dating someone that was in the church, and the image was, I think we touched on this earlier, it's like, church guys automatically good guys, and it's like, okay, well, let's look at your character flaws, let's look at how you're treating me, let's take away the Bible scriptures that we've learned together and the time that we went to church together, and how are you treating me Monday through Saturday? And when I focused on that, in the carnal side and took away the spiritual side, it was like, like you're not even doing what the everyday boyfriend should do. So why am I putting you on such a high pedestal because you're a PK or your dad plays an instrument in the church and you've been going since you were a kid? That obviously isn't bringing you any structure anyway. So, nothing from nothing left nothing with that when I, broke it down and just, dissected it the way that it needed to be seen.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, I was married legally. I want to say we were married 23, 24 years, but we had separated twice before the third separation. And at 22, I was like, whatever, I'm out, blah, 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 that type of thing. And then it's like, oh, you're married and you're thinking like, well, see if it's going to work. And then it was like, my parents were married this long. Well, see if you can be married longer than that, but not really understanding. Like when I got married, I didn't even know that I can hyphenate my name. Right. So I really had no knowledge of marriage. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom and dad, they separated when I was like 5 or 6, and I didn't have a lot of people around me that were married. I'm talking about like aunts, you didn't have that, so like my marriage was like the marriage in like the immediate family. For real. I'm the one that my sisters would give people my number because, you get your grandmother number, her phone always on. Like that it was that type of thing, and then, I would say it was not so much as religion, I guess, by not really being actual present in the practice of faith. You know what I'm saying? Because I actually, in the marriage, my former husband, he had actually, I don't think he actually wasn't really practicing when we met. Now that I think about it, I actually gifted him a prayer rug. Right. I actually, in the marriage, it was early in the marriage, I gifted him a prayer rug, and I think as he, as we went on in the marriage, he started getting more into it. Maybe his father, whomever, whatever. So that just came to me just now. Because my thing was like, oh, why you don't pray? Like, that type of thing. So I gifted that to him. I think that it was more so because when you come from trauma and then you're in a marriage and you traumatized so early in the marriage, you know what I'm saying, from the indiscretions, and it's all of that, you trying to have your pride and your ego, like at 22, you ain't realizing that you ain't shocked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People that came from all over, gave you gifts. You ain't giving that money back, no.
Yeah.
But no, it's just that. And then for it to happen again, the first time it happened, I was just like, what is wrong with me? You know what I'm saying? Like, then I realized, I was like, well, no, he got the problem because I'm popping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to be like, I'm popping. But then you're like, I like relationships. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of these. I like relationships. But what I'm here for now at 52, I like healthy relationships. You understand? Now, that's whether we are in a relationship together or we have a friendship and we like bond. You know what I'm saying? I like health and a relationship where like I like any healthy relationship. A girlfriend, a guy that's my friend, a guy that's my friend. You know what I'm saying? A good relationship where it is reciprocated. The love, the respect, the kindness, the compassion. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. So I think that with the religion, and it just really just came to me, I think that because he really was not practicing, so it was more so easier for him to do it. Like when I said I wanted the divorce, he didn't want it. And see, he a Taurus, so that's a whole nother thing. Taurus don't like change.
That is a whole nother thing.
They don't like change. And I think also he's not, and my former husband is a nice looking guy. You know what I'm saying? So, we both easy on the eyes. So, but I also think that he's 8 years my senior, right? So, and we lived together. We ain't had no issues. You know what I'm saying? As far as money, all of that type of stuff. So I know for him, as for me, it's more of a challenge to move into a relationship. You got to rebuild and trust this person and stuff all over again. So like when I was living in Cali, he was like, I will come out there and I will drive you back, like come back. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. But I had to cut off communication because I was like, no, this is not going, because I've already been back twice. I already know what this looked like. You know what I'm saying? I knew that the promises that the things you said you were going to do, you weren't going to do. Now I'm 40 something years old, and I'm like, I'm aware of it now, but again, being conscious, because in the marriage also, I started, is when I started as a comedian, you know what I'm saying? So you're traveling, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're taking care of home and all of this stuff, but you're not conscious and aware of certain things. But now I'm conscious and I'm aware. I'm like, nah, this don't work. You know what I'm saying? And before the marriage ended, finally, this does not work for me.
Yeah.
I need something better and great. I don't just need sex. I don't just need a provider. That's wonderful. It's a whole bunch of other stuff too. So yeah. Yes, I think religion played a part, but I think religion played a part, but I think that because it was none solid on both our sides, especially in the beginning, that definitely was the issue.
Yeah. I'd say for me, religion made me think that I had to rush, because there was so much of, of course, being young and feeling sexual and wanting to explore all that. It was like, I got to be married before I do it or else I'm going to burn, And so it was like this, it just felt like this pressure. And then when I was in a relationship with someone who was, man of God, we were both in the same church. I remember feeling like it, that became the focus, that he's a man of God. So all these other things I overlooked, you know what I mean? Like some of the other things that were like, oh, you know what, this probably isn't going to work, or it's just not time, or he's not ready, I'm not ready. I basically was overlooking some of those red flags and those signs, because it was like I was so focused on this fact, like, well, he's a man of God, so you want to try to make it work. And then within the relationship, because of that pressure of like waiting because we both decided to wait until we were married, but obviously we were still fooling around and doing stuff, and things would get hot and heavy and would lead to certain things. And
what did it lead to?
It would lead it would lead to all things with the exception of actual intercourse. So but, he would then blame me, for like it would be like the fault, or like the guilt and the shame would be placed on me. Like, well, I really wasn't trying to, go that deep and that far. Your titties was like, like whatever.
I'm not doing this.
Like, how are you putting this on me?
That's terrible.
We're in this together. You know what I mean? And so all that to say, I feel like, again, his own issues with, the fear and the shame and the guilt around it, which was why he was projecting. I understand that now. But of course, in the moment, I'm overlooking a lot of these things that were unhealthy for the relationship, and would have definitely been unhealthy had I have, married him or stayed in an even longer term relationship. So it definitely had me blinded and kind of, basically had my blinders on certain aspects of a relationship.
Yeah, my Venus is in Taurus, my love house, so I don't be going nowhere. I was a ride or die when I did not. I was like, no, I didn't rode and die. Like
I done put in my hours, honey.
Yeah, okay. I'm done.
Your community service, yeah. You're like, I'm good.
Done. As a matter of fact, the community owes me now. Like,
honey, okay. Yeah, I'm a Sagittarius, and I'm a very loyal person. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah. And that was my thing. My desire to just want to be with one person a lot of the time trumped. Like, okay, but this is not the person, girl. Like, I think that's what I had to, learn this whole time. Like, you need to learn how to be able to get up and walk away regardless. Okay, grace, understanding, forgiveness. You can do all of that
from across the room.
First, correct.
Yes, I think it takes loving you enough, loving
That
you
part.
the most, to realize and recognize, like, this is no longer serving me. I got to choose me now. And once you make that choice, it's like, it's no looking back at all.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love it. And that was when it came to the love lessons. That was a lot of you ladies like sum up, like, love yourself first. And I really think that's the answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love yourself enough to walk away.
Yeah.
Enough, the most. Yeah.
Yes,
love it,
ma'am.
ladies. I really feel like this was such a great conversation to touch on all these things, being raised by religion and, you know, sex, connection, you know, all of these things. Like this was great. I loved it. I loved chatting with you guys.
Thank
It was
you.
fun and informative.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
absolutely. And I see
Yes.
all you guys in the chat. You could drop an emoji real quick to share with us if you loved the conversation. And does anybody, you have anything else to share before we kind of head out? Anything you want to just, that maybe you didn't share on the show or that got cut out or that we might have missed from your journey?
I'm good. I'm doing me.
Yeah,
No, I'm doing
right
me.
now, yeah.
Dating now, no, I'm not dating anyone now. I'm definitely open, but I'm not rushing. You know, so yeah. I have my divine my list for my divine partner and what it's gonna look like. So I know when I stick to that,
Yes.
I'm good, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm focusing on me, and when it comes, I know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm rewriting my list as we speak too, because the more I get clear and see how specific you really need to be, because I keep getting close, then I'd be like, oh, but I can't do that. But that wasn't on the list. Let me go put this on the list.
And then put it in front of you where you can see it all the time, right?
That part.
Yeah.
How's dating going for you, Brittany? Are you out here? What you doing? You have somebody?
Huh?
You have somebody, right? You're dating somebody.
I do. Yes, I am still in a relationship. 2 years going on 3. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Love it.
I definitely had to do the same thing. Just focus on what I wanted, because I would focus on what I did not want, and that became a list, and that was the focus. And I just kept attracting that list of what I did not want. So yeah, I just got to a place where heavily engulfed in myself, and then just focusing on what I needed, you know, to not complete me, but to add to what was already there. You know? So yeah, other than that, I'm working on my music, and I have some new music coming out. So make sure y'all follow us on, you know, Instagram, on all the single ladies page. You can find all of the ladies on that page, me and Queen.
That's right.
So yes, make sure you guys follow us.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes. And my social media is Queen Aisha. It's everywhere. Put the last H on Aisha. You'll never find me. And actually on this Wednesday, and I want to invite you, Brittany, this Wednesday, I'm doing all the single ladies village on Wednesday on my my podcast, I Know Dope People. So we're going to be live also. So yeah, having a conversation, because like you're saying, like people like things were cut out, and then it's like kind of where are you now,
right?
You know, type of thing. And you know your people like, girl, I didn't know you was having that experience. This
oh my,
you know, all that type of thing. Or oh, can I have them earrings?
Yes, you can. Here's my
you know, all that. You know us. We'd be like, girl, them earrings is cute. Can I get some earrings? Right. Ooh, you look good under. You know, all of those things. So just to have the conversation. Because I think that is so important that we see ourselves. There's so many people that's like, yo, I didn't know nobody else was going through that. I didn't know, you know, that type of thing. And then let's take away the shame. Also, me and Paula Bryan Ellis, we did a really good interview, not this past Saturday, the Saturday before, I think it was the 28th or the 29th, the 28th, because my show aired on the 27th. And we talked about all of the shame, especially in the Black community. You know, with the dating and stuff like that. That's an awesome interview. It is on my social media page and YouTube, Queen Aisha.
Yes.
So yeah.
Please send me all the info for Wednesday.
I will. I'll shoot you an IG message.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, we can tune in and find that on your page. And Paula, by the way, is who I'm connected to. And this woman
she's phenomenal.
She is
phenomenal. That's a great word. And if I can find one bigger than that, I really would. Because just one conversation with her, one encounter, one brush by, and you're
I'm telling you,
wisdom, and you're like, like I need to be talking to you weekly. Like,
yo, let me tell you, like we started off talking about the show. When I tell you, she dropped so many jewels. Like she's
been married 40 years,
41, honey.
41. Let me get it right.
And she said she started talking about your heart posture, She started by asking God to scrub her heart every day.
Yeah.
When she
Wow.
talked about a situation with a friend, and these are things that stuck with me, Jules. And she said, just because you right don't mean you righteous. Like, I was like, you better say a word, honey. When I tell you that interview is everything.
I'm
I
going
could
to watch
definitely
it.
check
believe
that
it. I'm
out.
gonna have to
Yeah,
get up
I
on
definitely
that.
check
And I
that
think
out.
that is so, I think that the interview I did with her, I don't care what episode you watch.
Right.
To watch the executive producer and just the way, like, let me tell you something. That's a powerful interview.
Yes.
I already
Yeah,
know. Like,
She-
I'm like,
yo,
I got chills. I already know.
I was just like, it was so dope. It was
Oh.
I'm
really,
gonna
really
definitely
dope.
check it out. I'm gonna
Yes.
definitely check it
Yeah,
out.
it's
I
really
can't
dope.
wait.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I just
so-
want to say thank you to both of you, to Brittany and Aisha, for your vulnerability and just sharing on the show. You know, like, I think that's what it's all about, is letting people know you're not the only one who has gone through this, these crazy things with these dudes and just with life and just figuring it out and just on the other side of it. And so I just wanted to just say thank you both. You know, for
you.
sharing,
Of course. Thank
your
you.
stories and your journey with love.
Yes, and I ain't mad at nobody.
Me
Okay?
either.
I ain't
Me
mad
never.
at nobody. One thing I had to do was I will add this, accept my responsibility and my role, because I think the biggest thing is being present, knowing your self-worth, you know, and accepting responsibility for your part.
Yeah.
You know, I was 22 in the beginning, but then I got older. I got in my 30s, you know, all of those types of things. So now I can say, like, I'm good. Like, I put in all my hours of bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Capacity. And
Yeah,
done.
that's
like,
it.
we're done.
Yep.
That's all.
Yep.
Yeah, without that
my new thing
accountability,
is yes, the
there's
accountability.
no growing. It's the accountability. It's not like it's nothing you have to be shameful about, but the accountability is monumental, because without that, you can't see, how do you move forward if you can't see yourself in the situation? You can't make no different changes to your behavior, nothing. You have no choices to make without accepting responsibility for your part in it.
Because you lying to yourself. Because you lying to yourself.
You've been lying to yourself. And
you lying.
You know, my fiance, he was, you know, he put me through a lot. But I remember after 3 months, I had left him alone. The only reason he came back into my life is because I had left him alone. And you know, a man's ego don't want, she ain't answering my phone calls, nothing. I'm going to call her daddy house. Like, I'm going to tell her I love her. Like, he came for me and then still wasn't talking about nothing. So there was a part of me that knew very early on that it was a no, and I still, you know, so I had to learn the parts of me that were saying yes to something that was not for me, and I had to talk to that part of me and pull it together.
No, and that part right there, that's important, because you have to have those conversations with yourself. You got to sit with yourself and sit in it. You know, and ask, okay, God, this is going on. What should I do? And
like, why did
listen
you
and
sit
be
there
still
and
enough?
Yeah,
right. But sit still enough to get the answer. Because I'll share this. We meditate. I meditate, and I was meditating on different things, and I think I was in the bathroom brushing my teeth one day, and God just said, "You be asking me for stuff, but you don't be sitting still long enough for me to answer and assist you." I was like, "What happened? You all in my business,
right?"
And I corrected myself. And I was like, you know, because we be thinking like that's how God communicate. That's how He, God, it, she, who, universe responds. In your stillness.
There we go.
Your thought, and when you wake up in the morning, wake you up out of your sleep, sitting still, your stillness. And I was like, you right.
You right.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
That's a good little nugget to be reminded of. It is the stillness.
Stillness. That's why you gotta come off social media.
And I'm gonna be doing that as much as possible. That's time for me. Like, I needed to hear that, because I've been inching my way out, but I need a minute. I need to be present, and I need to hear myself. Like,
that's
without being, you know how it is. It's all marketing. You know how it's been that way. You hear something 21 times. You're just being fed all this stuff, and you might think an idea is your idea, and it's not. It's influenced by all of these other things, and I just need, you know.
Yes,
just more right. So I
Mhm.
think they do that on purpose, you know, try to
Yeah.
take our power away by telling us not to talk to ourselves because, you know,
Mhm.
that's supposed to be crazy if you talk to yourself. But it's one of the most powerful things you can do is speaking over yourself, speaking to yourself,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know, and then coming to the conclusion. You know, that's when God, like Queen Aisha said, is speaking in our stillness.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
speaking to yourself is very important. I
Yeah, I
think
live alone, so call me crazy, but there's a lot of conversations that go on over here, and it's just me.
it's
so.
needed.
It's true. No, I'm with you. Yeah, yeah.
It's needed.
Mhm.
You know,
I thought
especially
about that
coming
the
to
other
talk to
day. Like,
yourself.
am I still gonna do this if I live?
Yes, that part. Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my
Exactly.
Yeah.
god.
Mhm. That's absolutely okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, you ladies are incredible. I'm so excited for all of you guys that tuned in. Even if you weren't able to leave comments, I know you were blessed or inspired or touched by this conversation. Please make sure to come back next Monday as well at 4 p.m. Pacific time, because we are going to have Aja and one more lady, I believe, on. I can't think right now, but we're going to keep it rocking. with
Aja was
the-
good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Aja.
Yes.
So
She
she'll
from
be on.
Jersey too.
Okay.
Yes. I
When
actually
she
know her.
said, when she
Oh, yeah,
said, I
that's one.
dressed for
Yes.
the occasion,
I know that's right.
Yep.
Ooh.
The sweatpants and the
in the
Timbs.
Tim, I
Like,
was
all
done.
right.
Andrew,
There
where you
goes-
from?
I'm from Oakland.
Okay.
Great area.
Honey, she said, I
Area.
dressed for the occasion. I was like, okay. I hear you, Aja.
Yes.
Ladies, this was wonderful. I don't know if you
Yeah.
can hear my son in the background.
Oh, no.
No.
The baby.
No.
We couldn't hear anything.
How old
but-
is he?
He'll be 1 at the end of this month.
Oh, that's so
What's his
beautiful.
birthday?
His birthday is February 25th.
And my great nephew is February 24th.
Okay, that's my
Oh,
great
Mr.
nephew's
Adonis.
birthday.
Yes, honey.
Amazing.
Yes.
Well, I got a nephew
that's
on the way
sweet.
due the 23rd.
Congratulations.
So
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Beautiful. Yes, honey. Mr. Adonis is walking in and everything. He started walking at 9 months and started clapping, and he ain't stopped since.
Right.
Same with my
That's your
son.
baby.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same with him. Yep. He was
Mhm.
walking at 9 months and
Yes.
is basically running. So
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
it's
And
on
he
and
go
cracking
down and he
over
come
here.
right back up. Yep. He
Mhm.
busy. Girl, he was playing the drum this weekend. We put the African drum in front of his grandmother, gave him one. He's serious. They busy. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Aw.
Mhm.
She said, "Whoa, girl, I
Yeah.
didn't know." Okay,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. Let me take another sip before I move on to the next round.
Right. You ladies are amazing. We'll stay in touch, and if we do any more discussions and it makes sense, like let's keep the girl chat going
Absolutely.
and keep sharing all the love and
Yes.
Love it.
Empowering
I'll definitely
people. I
be
hope
checking out that
someone.
interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope at least one person I was able to help shift their life, redirect them, encourage and empower. That's what
Yes.
you are.
Definitely.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely. Hopefully you guys can learn from our stories, you know, and
Yes.
implement them into your own lives.
Yep.
Yes.
I know it for a fact. So thank you guys so much, and thank you for your time. And yeah, you guys know where to find, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next week.
Peace. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.